We're live here at the Business Startup TV live stage, and I'm joined by the wonderful Penny Power. Penny, I've heard a lot about you. You're a true inspiration to women in business. So we're going to take the chance to ask you a few questions and find out how you got started and if you've got any advice for people watching at home. So tell us all about eAcademy that you launched.
Well, eAcademy I started in 1998. It was quite an interesting time to start it because it was a network for connecting people at a time when most people are very focused on PayPal buttons on websites and the e-commerce nature of the internet. But I felt there was something much more exciting bubbling under, which was the power of people being connected to one another.
And it really has grown tremendously over the years, hasn't it?
I mean, it's fantastic. It's incredible.
You've got 15,000 new members coming on each month, is it?
A bit more than that now.
Even more than
that now. So it is, but it's the thing I love about it is that I'm not actually a believer as big is beautiful. I actually, unless you look at my bottom, but I do believe that niche is important. The power of belonging to a community where you're with like-minded people who have similar values and are wanting to share, not just sell to one another. And I don't see the online world as a predatory hunting world where everybody should be selling to each other. I see it as a world where people should be friends and supporting one another. And when you create a niche, people can be more gentle towards one another because they realise the sales opportunity is there, but they don't have to actually hunt for it. They just have to build a personal brand.
And eAcademy really is the business social networking site, isn't it? I mean, tell us a little bit about when, if you join, what support do you actually give to businesses?
Okay, well, first of all, although we do give support in terms of helping people to understand how to become known and liked and followed online, it's much more about the community supporting one another, peer-to-peer. So we do online and offline events for that. But it's very much like, you see, I see it's mostly sole traders and small businesses. So if you imagine our community was one big pub, if you were sitting in a pub on a bar stool, even if you were a plumber, you wouldn't spend your whole life just saying, I'm a plumber, I'm a plumber, I'm a plumber. You would just get known for being a good guy. And as a result of that, whenever anybody needed a plumber, they would know that you are a plumber. And I think that's the most important element of what we have to teach. When you join, create a great profile, make it obvious so that people can see what your transactional side of your business is, but then start just sharing knowledge and being a friend to people. And then business flows because people like you.
Definitely. And tell us a little bit about, obviously, how you started out in business. What experiences have you had as a woman in business? Some of the obstacles that you've had to overcome?
I think the biggest one, and I was lucky in the terms of the sort of bosses that I had, I went into business at 19 and I was going to go to university but decided to stay in it, and I built it in the IT industry. I was really lucky that I had a boss who appreciated who I was, didn't try and turn me into somebody that the business needed me to be. And so I was really lucky on that. But I think the biggest lesson and the thing that I constantly try and get people to understand about themselves is the value of them as a person. Because there are millions of accountants, millions of solicitors, millions of property experts, millions and millions of every type of profession. They're not unique. You can go onto Yale and you can find those. You can Google and you'll find them, people who have search engine optimized themselves best. What's unique is about your journey, the dots that you've joined up in your life and who you are and what your values are. And I think I was lucky that I was appreciated for being who I was. And I'm someone who very much talks from the heart all the time, and I've been able to build a following because people have followed a cause that I believe in, and almost a humanitarian cause of how life is better if we're connected at a great level. And so I think more people realise that they are one brand. They're not a business brand and a social brand. They're one person, and that is a friend. Whoever you're with, you're just a friend. And then you really bring out the best of yourself.
Brilliant. That's very, very powerful advice for all the would-be entrepreneurs watching from home. So, Penny, obviously, the eAcademy really has been a massive success. And I know you've worked very, very hard. You also, have 3 children as well. I don't know how you do it. So what's next on the list for eAcademy? What are the future goals for you?
Well, I think because we've created a niche around this small businessman and woman who's wanting to get known, what I've identified is that there's a huge knowledge gap in terms of how people are leveraging the internet. So we've created the Academy Digital School, and in that we're creating digital coaches. And we're training people how to become a digital coach, not a life coach, not a business coach, but a digital coach. And that's where we help, the coach will help their client to define who they are as a person, what makes them different, what their message to the world is, and then help them to build the right sort of profile online, and then introduce them to the people that will help them build their blog, build their YouTube channel, build this. So that's a big part for it, and we're launching a manifesto in January with the support of the government, with Mark Prisk. That's going to be a roadshow, and it's all around the country about bridging that knowledge gap between having access online and then knowing how to leverage it for economic growth.
And I think you've struck a very important chord there, is that a lot of people, when they're starting out in business, they come up with an idea and they don't really have a USP. There's 100 companies doing the same thing time and time again, and it's like, what makes somebody different is their story, which you touched on. And it's not about just entering into any business and making money. You've got to really believe in it and want to do it to make it a success. And I think if you're helping bring out that USP in their business, then it's an amazing, well-needed thing, because there's too much competition out there. You have to have a unique USP.
Yeah, and it's rewarding.
And obviously the whole social media aspect has absolutely revolutionised the way that we can be a success these days. I mean, I come from a PR background, and the days of publications pass along rate and its circulation figures, it's now how many people tweet you, how many bloggers you've got. It's really changed. And I think obviously what you're doing here is absolutely essential for any business to survive. It has to have the social media side of it, but it's a bit of a minefield to those starting out. So e-Academy is something that people really do need to look into, isn't it?
Well, I would love them to.
So tell us, how can we find out more?
Well, they can go to the website, eacademy.com, and that will tell them there. They can tweet me on @pennypower, and look forward to hearing from people.
Thank you. That's the lovely Penny Power joining us from e-Academy. Thank you very much for talking to us, Penny.
Thank you.